On the Real Journey show, you can expect to hear about a real journey. The listeners will be reminded that life experiences have a compelling way of connecting us, inspiring us, and empowering us to stay real. Hey friends, so welcome back to the Real Journey show. I am Tara Martin, your host, and this is episode 35, No Pain, No Gain. Well, I know this phrase has been around for a really long time, but recently I've had some opportunities to experience a little bit of pain, and I thought I would share just this encouraging message. Hopefully, it'll reach out and touch someone and reach someone where you're at today. And if not, then maybe in the future you might experience something similar. But when I was a little girl, I remember in the 8th grade, I was trying out for 9th grade student council, and I was so excited. My maiden name was Pain. And so my slogan that year was no pain, no gain. And I had all of these different reasons of why people should choose me as a student council representative. And all these posters with no pain, no gain, and all the different ways that you can demonstrate that with illustrations and markers and glitter and all the things, because that's exactly what we did. And we would hang up our posters all over the school and hope to get the highest student body vote. And luckily that year I actually did make it in. So they made some gains by choosing this pain. But I've thought about this a lot recently. Coming off of surgery, I've had a lot of experiences with some pain, like going back to working out. I couldn't wait to get back, and it has definitely not been the easiest journey, although I am super proud of my body for showing up for me every single day. And I know that the pain means that I am making gains toward this comeback, right? Toward getting stronger and being able to be where I was when I left off. And I feel like in this journey of life, we often encounter obstacles and challenges that test our strength. They test our resilience. They test our determination. And these difficulties manifest themselves in physical, emotional, mental pain. And sometimes it's actually just overwhelming, right? I feel like in these moments of struggle, in these moments of pain, if you will, that's when we really grow into the human that we want to be. So this old saying, no pain, no gain, it just holds this profound meaning for me, not just because it was my slogan in the 8th grade trying out for the student council for the first time, but just that pain has shown itself to me in so many different forms as I have grown older. And it just has this unique way of shaping us, right? And teaches us these invaluable lessons that we truly could not get in another way if we didn't experience the pain. So one of the things that I think about the most is when you think about children. I remember when Caleb was so small and he would experience these pains in his legs. And I remember this being like around that 5th to 6th grade age when he was moving into middle school. And I swear the kid grew like 6 inches in a year. It was wild. And he kept saying, Mom, my legs hurt, my arms hurt. And we would just massage them knowing these are growing pains. This is a part of life. And trusting that he was just going to grow into the super strong human that he later became. And that's exactly what it was. So later it was in roles of education, right? I went through multiple roles of education. I was in the classroom, then instructional coaching, and then moved into administration, and now work with authors as the director of publishing for Dave Burgess Consulting. In each one of those roles, there was this time period, if you will, of growing pains. And each one of those periods of time during that role was a new layer of wisdom was being added to me. I was learning new tools to be able to navigate these similar challenges in the future. And I was also being able to cultivate new levels of empathy within me. So with each new experience and each new suffering or each new pain, if you will, I was able to become attuned to growing pains that others might eventually have. And when we develop this heightened sense of understanding and compassion, it allows us to connect with people on this deeper level. And I knew that I had to go through these periods of growing pain or to be able to later experience that comfort and support when others were going through distress. And so, if there is not pain, then how could you gain that wisdom? If I didn't have those growing pains, how would I gain those new levels of empathy? How would I be able to reach the people and understand them, or at least try to, on a deeper level? I think of this with fitness. In CrossFit, when I started, I swear the first 2 weeks of CrossFit, I was in pain. I was sore every single day and wondering if I ever not going to be sore. And I would say that now, as 4 years into, almost 4 years into it, I hope I never become not sore, because as long as I am growing and I am learning a new skill and I am advancing myself, as in I'm competing with myself. And if this was my PR last year, then I am striving for a new one this year, then I'm always going to be a little bit sore because I'm stretching my muscles. I'm training them to do just something a little bit harder, a little bit more difficult. And if I don't feel that pain, I know I'm not making gains. No pain, no gain. So recently I was at our brand new airport in Kansas City. If you've not flown into Kansas City recently, do yourself a favor, come visit me, come to Kansas City and check out our airport. It is so beautiful. It is so swanky. And oh my goodness, I was in love with it. When I walked in, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. But before I got to the pretty parts, had to endure a little bit of pain. So as you are checking in, we are not used to that overwhelming amount of lines. We've always had different lines for every single airline. And now we're all in one big line. So as we are coming in and you send your bags through, there is a long period of time where your bags have gone through and they are on the other side, but they're not checking us in quickly enough. And I'm not TSA approved. I should be, but I had to wait to be body scanned. So I was waiting in this very long line for a body scan, and I kept peeking over and checking out my bags. It was making me a little nervous because they had been over there for a really long time before I had gone through. But I thought, you know what? It's a brand new airport. This is just part of the growing pains. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm going to get over. My bag will be there. Well, guess what? I got over there and my bag was not there. It was gone. One of my bags is there, my backpack and my laptop and my purse and my phone. So the main things, but my suitcase, my carry-on suitcase was gone. And the guy's like, I'm sorry, we'll find it. There's cameras all around. We're going to find it. And I'm like, today, because I fly out in the next hour and I really would like to find my carry-on. So they are looking around. We're looking around, kind of checking to see. I walked out into the main aisle, but there's so many people because it is so beautiful and everyone is in one area now. So there's just people passing by constantly. And let me tell you, every single traveler, I feel like, in Kansas City on that day had a silver carry-on. So finding mine seemed impossible. And at this moment, I was experiencing a real pain in my butt for our brand new airport. But just a few minutes later, this lady wheeled over my suitcase and her husband wheeled over her suitcase, and they looked exactly the same. Her husband thought she picked up the suitcase. She thought he picked up the suitcase, and they both had the same exact suitcase, but one of them was mine. She brought it back so nicely, and I stayed there waiting for it, of course. But as I got out, I was feeling overwhelmed and anxious and thinking, oh my goodness, how was I supposed to go to my workshop with the reason I took a carry-on was so I didn't have to check any bags, but I had my clothes in my carry-on and they were gone. It would have been no big deal because, we can always go buy more clothes, but it would just been a pain, right? Just a pain. But I thought about it for a minute and I thought, this is kind of one of those things that happens when we get a new role in education, or when a business is starting from the ground up, or when an airport just quadruples in size because they put all of the airlines in one area where they used to have them all separated out. And this is part of the growing pains. They needed to experience this to realize that, we have to get this to go through a little quicker, or else we have to hold those bags until people have a chance to go through the body scanner so they can get to their bag a little bit sooner and people aren't getting them mixed up. And it's just part of the plan, right? No pain, no gain. Eventually, that airline is probably going to run like a fine greased machine. I have zero doubts. And it is so beautiful. We have so many places to eat. We have coffee shops. I mean, y'all, we've been waiting for a long time for this. And Kansas City Airport has been struggling in every way for a really long time. So if you fly into MCI, trust me, it's going to be amazing. And I bet by the time you come through, you're not even going to experience those pains that I did. But usually at the end of these pains, the gains are so worth it. Thinking about Caleb growing into the strong, athletic human that he is today, he had to go through that pain. And I think about me as an educator, and then now working in the role that I get to work in serving educational authors. I would not be the person I am today in this role without the pains and the lessons learned from all of those previous roles, and the pains and the lessons learned from my first year of doing this, because it did not come naturally for me. There were a lot of growing pains in that first couple of years. Dave would say the same about the business. Starting Dave Burgess Consulting from his kitchen table, it was not easy. He traveled around for free all the time, and he would take to build his email list. He was taking little tiny slips of paper, passing them out in the crowd, having them send them back, hand entering those in his little email BCC line so he could send them out an email. Things were not always easy. He didn't have all of this available technology we have today to make it easier. And every single step of the way, he learned new lessons that made it worth it. And he was able to pass that on to all of us so we could do a better job. And I think about the Kansas City Airport. I mean, it's a gorgeous facility to welcome all of our guests and to send all of us that are going traveling away in a nice, comfortable place. But it has to work out its kinks. There's still some pains, and it's going to be worth it in the end. So I feel like this saying, no pain, no gain, it just reminds us of this profound truth that pain is an essential part of growth. It's an essential part of the growth process. Through pain, we experience and develop empathy. We grow stronger. We discover our strengths and weaknesses, and we become this better human. It is in these moments of struggle and discomfort that we transform into the person that we are meant to be. And by embracing the pain, that is where we recognize and value that we need this challenge to truly be successful and fulfill our purpose in this life. So I encourage everyone that's listening under the sound of my voice, as you are going through your journey of life, know that the pain that we experience today will pave the way for a brighter and more rewarding future. No pain, no gain. Thank you for joining the Real Journey Show. Hope you'll join me back next week. Same place, same time. And if you like what you're hearing on the Real Journey Show, please do share it out on Twitter using the hashtag Real Journey Show and tag me at Tara Martin EDU, or you can tag me on Instagram at Tara mmartin.real, or on Facebook, Tara M. Martin. I would love to hear your thoughts. It's so exciting to be able to hear how you are taking these messages and apply them into your own life. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you back next week.